We are kicking off with WWE, as it was a few days ago that Stephanie Vaquer officially joined the promotion, and Shawn Michaels took to Twitter to welcome her to the family. Now the former CMLL star has made her in-ring debut, as at a WWE live event in Mexico City, she took on WWE Women's Tag Team Champion Isla Dawn. Footage of the Vaquer-Dawn match has circulated online and shows Dawn assuming early control before Vaquer was able to shift momentum in her favor. A hurricanrana by the former CMLL Women's World Champion firmly turned the tide, and a package neckbreaker would earn Vaquer the win in her first match. Vaquer, whose real name is Ana Stephanie Vaquer Gonzalez, is expected to use the name fans know her for in WWE, Dave Meltzer reports, as there's no plans to change her name right now. Of course, things could always change in the future, but given that WWE has been promoting her as Stephanie Vaquer, the company is eager to capitalize on her current name appeal. Given that she defeated Isla Dawn, there have been rumors that Vaquer would be joining Dawn on Raw, which gained traction after a backstage video showed her speaking to Damian Priest. However, Vaquer has since confirmed that she'll be a part of NXT at first, as in a video shared on WWE's Instagram page, she spoke about coming to WWE and ended with "NXT, see you soon." We'll have to wait and see how Stephanie Vaquer will fare in WWE following her debut this week. All indications suggest that she'll be booked as a major star in the coming months on NXT. Are you excited to see Stephanie Vaquer as part of the WWE roster? And who do you want to see her face next, and why? Let us know all this down in the comments. For 2 years now, Damian Priest has been a heel on WWE TV as part of the Judgment Day, but as of late, fans have noticed what could be a face turn for the World Heavyweight Champion. From rejecting interference by the Judgment Day to promising Seth Rollins a rematch, Priest has been acting different to his faction allies, as seen at a recent WWE live event. At the event in Monterrey, Priest retained against Jey Uso in a Backlash France rematch and began making his way to the back, only to change his mind. Priest returned to the ring, but instead of attacking Jey like a fully fledged heel, he helped a fallen Jey back to his feet and showed respect, even doing the yeet arm movement. This was even shared by WWE's official Instagram, meaning they want fans to see Priest acting in a very unheel-like way, furthering speculation that a face turn is coming. At SummerSlam, Priest will defend his title against the heel Gunther, and what do you make of what we've seen from the champ? Let us know down in the comments. On last week's Raw, Rhea Ripley made her return to programming to confront Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio, just as it appeared the pair were prepared to lock lips. Ripley's return was certainly a shock, as fans did not expect her back so soon, but just how did WWE keep the return of one of their most popular superstars under wraps? PW Insider reports that the word in the locker room is that WWE used a private jet to fly Ripley to Ottawa, Ontario, where Raw was taking place. Upon arriving at the Canadian Tire Center, Ripley was kept hidden backstage throughout the day, away from nearly everyone, and only arrived in the gorilla position during the main event. This was the same protocol WWE used to bring CM Punk to Money in the Bank, and on that occasion, WWE was again able to keep one of their top stars a secret from the fans. Are you impressed by WWE's method to keep Rhea Ripley's return under wraps like this? Let us know in the comments section below. At the aforementioned live event in Mexico City, Dominik Mysterio faced his father Rey once more, but Carlito interfered to cause a DQ before Dragon Lee arrived to make the save. This led to an impromptu tag team match, and during the match, Dominik continued to play mind games with his Hall of Fame father. Mid-match, Dirty Dom took Rey's shirt and rubbed it between his legs before throwing it to the mat and kicking it out of the ring, an action that Liv Morgan found hilarious. If you're wondering what Liv was doing out there, well, she had retained her Women's World title in the match prior, but stuck around to announce Dominik for his match with Rey. Morgan said it was an honor and a privilege to introduce the real daddy of the Mysterio family, and went on to call Dominik her Poppy as the fans heralded her with boos. Interestingly, Dominik didn't seem as opposed to Liv being around compared to what we've seen on TV, but her being at ringside didn't stop the faces from winning the tag team match. On tonight's Raw, Rhea Ripley will address the situation between Liv and Dominik, and fans will be interested to hear what she has to say, especially after this live event in Mexico City. This same live event saw Bayley retain the WWE Women's Championship against a very game Bianca Belair, but the role model's night wasn't done just yet. After the match, a brawl erupted between Bayley and Tiffany Stratton, and fan-recorded footage shows Stratton trying to cash in her Money in the Bank contract. That likely would have happened had Belair not intervened, and when Stratton attempted to hit Bianca with the briefcase, the EST dodged the attack. Stratton quickly retreated, leaving Bayley to celebrate in the ring, and this incident comes after Stratton teased a big plan for her Money in the Bank cash-in. Stratton sent a notice to the Women's World Champion Liv Morgan, WWE's Women's Champion Bayley, and NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez during SmackDown this week. That notice hinted that Stratton may not cash in on SmackDown's champion as expected, but that she'll be more than okay to take a title from another female champion in WWE. Fans will have to wait and see who Tiffany Stratton ultimately decides to cash in her Money in the Bank briefcase on, but WWE clearly has big plans for her and her briefcase. Who do you think Tiffany Stratton will cash her Money in the Bank briefcase on? Let us know in the comments section below. It was back at WrestleMania 40 that fans last saw Roman Reigns in a WWE ring, and ever since then, audiences have been wondering what's next for the former Universal Champion. According to PW Insider, Roman Reigns is anticipated to make his return by SummerSlam, and there were plans for him to come back 2 to 3 weeks before the show in Cleveland. With that said, when Sean Ross Sapp was asked during Fightful's Q&A about Reigns returning at SummerSlam, he said it was assumed but not confirmed. SummerSlam 2024 will see Solo Sikoa, who has taken Reigns' role as head of the table, challenge Cody Rhodes, and we'll have to see what Reigns does if he returns next month. Since making their debut in June, the Wyatt Six have captivated fans watching Raw, and a string of VHS tapes delivered by Nikki Cross have continued to give cryptic teases of what's to come. The group is expected for tonight's Raw, but before that happens, the faction has taken to Twitter to share an image of what appears to be Eric Rowan in a VHS format. This has led fans to believe that the next VHS will be about Rowan, and this is not the only cryptic message shared by the group in the lead-up to tonight's show. In a separate tweet, the Wyatt Six shared a tease of hope, or more specifically, a distorted image of the word in front of what appears to be Rowan's old sheep mask. 33 numbers make up the text of the tweet, which, when run through a decimal-to-text translator, gives the message, "Hope is the last thing ever lost." The WWE Universe remains mystified by the work of the group's members, and there has been speculation about when the first match for a member of the group will be. Some have speculated it'll come at SummerSlam, especially as Bray Wyatt's first match on the main roster came at the same event in 2013, where he defeated Kane. Uncle Howdy recently announced that he plans to unleash his family, with Chad Gable and Jey Uso being seen as potential targets, and time will tell what's next for the Wyatt Six. This Wednesday, AEW will host its 250th episode of Dynamite, and a few days ago, Mercedes Moné said she'd defend the TBS title in an open challenge with anyone except Britt Baker. While Moné is ducking the DMD, she'll have a tall order in the form of Nyla Rose, who said on last week's Collision that she was accepting the challenge shortly after beating Ava Lawless. On Twitter, the official AEW account confirmed that this match is happening, and this comes after Rose challenged for the AEW Women's World title on the first episode of Dynamite. On that night, Rose was beaten by Riho to crown the first holder of the gold, and now the native beast is ready to capture gold once more this Wednesday in Little Rock, Arkansas. As for Moné, she'll continue to get some of the loudest reactions on AEW programming, even if it's not the reaction the company first expected her to get. While Moné was introduced as a face, fans have quickly turned on the CEO, a reaction AEW and Moné have leaned into given her recent behavior on TV. On Fightful's Q&A podcast, Sean Ross Sapp was asked if there's any concern about the reaction Moné's been getting, and said AEW always knew she could lean towards being a heel. Sapp added that Moné almost certainly wanted to be a heel, so while this wasn't the originally planned response, no one is too upset over the TBS champ getting booed. Whether Moné still holds that title this time next week, time will tell, but win or lose on Dynamite, expect the CEO to be in the spotlight on the show's 250th episode. Now, AJ Styles is considered one of the best pro wrestlers today by his fans and his peers, and this past weekend, he made his in-ring debut for Pro Wrestling Noah. This was part of a partnership between WWE and Noah, and now the phenomenal one wants wrestlers from the Japanese promotion to come to WWE. While speaking to Yahoo Japan, Styles made clear he has welcomed this new era of WWE where they cooperate with other companies, and said the Noah deal is the start of a promising deal. Styles spoke of the mutual benefits of wrestler exchanges, advocating for a balanced flow where not only do WWE names get opportunities in Noah, but Noah talent get chances in WWE. More specifically, Styles said that young wrestlers could especially benefit, as it'd give Noah wrestlers experience in the American wrestling environment and help WWE names in Japan. Styles is an established veteran and gave his all at Noah's Destination 2024 event, which saw him defeat Naomichi Marufuji, who is the president of the company. Fans won't have to wait long to see more WWE talent in Noah though, as it's been confirmed that Josh Briggs and Tavon Heights will be part of the N1 Victory Tournament next month. This working relationship would have seemed impossible just a few years ago, and what do you make of WWE working with Noah? Sound off in the comments section down below. In just a few weeks' time, WWE will descend upon Cleveland, Ohio for SummerSlam 2024, but the show may go ahead without one of the city's favorite sons. Up until recently, it was expected that The Miz would be competing at the Cleveland Browns Stadium, but after he and R-Truth lost the World Tag Team titles, that doesn't seem certain anymore. Speaking to TV Insider, The Miz was concerned about possibly missing the SummerSlam card, especially how much the Cleveland Browns Stadium is meant to him. He said, "There are longer matches with storylines that have been built and are ready for a PLE. You look at SummerSlam now, it's at the Cleveland Browns Stadium. I don't know what I'm doing, and it's in my hometown. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I don't think we'll ever go back to that stadium because they might get a new stadium. This stadium that I've grown up watching the Cleveland Browns games in. I don't know if I have a match. You look at the storylines right now, and it's insane how good they are. It's very tough to get on a PLE now. You have to be on the top of your game. I understand more than anyone because I've been here for 20 years. There are still 3 episodes of Monday Night Raw to go before SummerSlam, so the Awesome Truth could still find their way in. But right now, nothing is certain for WWE's A-lister. But what do you make of this? Do you think The Miz should have a role at SummerSlam? And if so, what should it be? Let us know down in the comments. Right now, there's no shortage of championships in WWE, but many of the titles feature the same design, especially on the main roster. For example, both the undisputed WWE title and the WWE Women's Championship have the same big W design that's been used for the past decade or so, but that could be ending soon. Zero News reports that new designs for the titles held by Cody Rhodes and Bayley are set to debut soon, as WWE is looking to move away from the big W design. There's no specifics on what the new titles are expected to look like, but it's said that these will be more traditional designs compared to the big W we currently see. There's also not a specific date for when fans can expect these new titles, and do you think this is a change that needs to be made? Let us know down below. It was at WrestleMania 39 that Cody Rhodes came up short against then Universal Champion Roman Reigns, but that wasn't the only memorable moment from that night. After the match, Rhodes came face to, well, beak with a rubber chicken someone threw in the ring, and this chicken has become something of a meme among fans ever since. During the latest WWE event in Mexico City, Rhodes faced off against Santos Escobar in an I Quit match for the undisputed WWE Championship, and the American Nightmare won. Post-match, Rhodes was seen lying in the ring and he grabbed a rubber chicken and looked at it like he had seen a ghost from his past, obviously remembering his WrestleMania 39 incident. This was a bit of fun from Cody, who did address the rubber chicken incident on Raw after his loss in SoFi Stadium. And let us know what you think of this in the comments section. In recent months, there's been a lot of speculation about Natalya as her contract was set to expire, and fans wondered whether she'd be leaving WWE after 16 years on the main roster. Now, Sean Ross Sapp has confirmed that Natalya is staying with WWE and has inked a new deal that should keep her with the company for years to come. The agreement was finalized in late June, just before her previous contract expired, and while she wasn't at last week's Raw, it's said that her new deal had already been secured by then. Negotiations between WWE and Natalya began in May, during which she ensured her external projects outside of the ring aligned with the terms of the new contract. Natalya hasn't appeared at any WWE events since signing this new contract, but as the longest tenured woman in WWE, fans can expect to see more of her for years with this new deal. More from the Wyatt Six now, as the group has been a hit with fans and those in the industry for the most part, but there are some who aren't wholly sold on the spooky group. Speaking on the Gorilla Position podcast, Gunther was asked for his thoughts on the faction and admitted that he's not particularly fond of the supernatural genre. That's not just in wrestling, but extends to movies and other forms of entertainment, and the 2024 King of the Ring much prefers documentaries or historical films based on real events. With that said, Gunther recognized that the group has won over the fans based off the crowd reactions and said that the challenge now is maintaining their aura when they work in the ring. After all, it's one thing for the group to remain mysterious when they're standing in creepy rooms, but the task will be keeping that presence when they compete like any other superstar. Although he hasn't paid much attention to how it's been handled so far, Gunther is confident that if anyone can strike the right balance between spooky and relatable, it's Triple H. Gunther is hopeful for the faction's success, and do you agree or disagree with what he had to say? Share your thoughts on Gunther's take on the Wyatt Six down below. For years, the two most dominant factions in WWE have been the Judgment Day and the Bloodline, though the two factions have never gone to war against one another. That being said, fans have often compared the success of the two groups, but as far as Dominik Mysterio, it's clear which faction reigns supreme. Speaking to Card Subject to Change, Mysterio spoke about the Judgment Day's success and why he feels that no other group has done what they've been able to accomplish. "I can guarantee no one's lasted as long as we have, you know? No one's had the amount of titles that we've had where every single member is holding a championship title. Not only one, but on both sides on different brands. When Damian and Finn held the tag titles for both SmackDown and Raw, Rhea was the Raw Women's Champion, I was taking care of NXT with the North American Championship. Like, we were literally taking care of all three brands at the same time like that. That'll never happen again. Never. And as much as nothing. I'm not taking away anything from the Bloodline. They're up there with the factions as well, but they stayed on SmackDown. We were running around everywhere, taking over everything." Despite a shaky start, the Judgment Day has become a force to be reckoned with on Raw, while the Bloodline has continued to evolve and change over on SmackDown. Right now, the two factions remain fixtures of the main event scene, but which group do you believe is superior? Share your opinion down below. At AEW Revolution 2024, Sting was given a hero's send-off in his final ever match as he and Darby Allin retained the AEW World Tag Team titles against the Young Bucks. This win means Sting ended his AEW career undefeated, but during the No Shave Man Cave podcast, Jake Hager critiqued this streak when speaking about Chris Jericho. He said, "Here's the thing I did like about it. Did you see Triple H putting over any new guys? Did you see Undertaker putting over any new guys? Did you see any top guys who have been in the business for as long as Jericho putting over anybody? Did Sting put over anybody? No. Jericho's trying to build, he understands it. It drives me crazy that nobody talks about this. He's putting over these guys. He's putting the stamp on them. Did he make Orange Cassidy hot? I mean, come on. I'm biased, but I think the fact that he is so unselfish with building this company, forget about it." For decades, Chris Jericho has worked with young talent, and it was Jericho who Hager cashed in his Money in the Bank contract on in 2010 to become World Heavyweight Champion. Ultimately, AEW's booking of Sting is a thing of the past and can't be changed, but do you think the Icon should have taken some L's in his All Elite run before hanging up his boots for good? Both in and out of the ring, Darby Allin has been willing to put his body on the line, and at a recent concert, the former TNT champion once again threw caution to the wind. At a concert for God's Hate, in which Brody King performs, Allin made a surprise appearance and was thrown by King from the stage into the crowd. On Twitter, Allin joked that their rivalry will never end, as the risk taker will continue to do exactly that, whether on AEW TV or at a concert. It was less than a month ago that Donovan Dijak parted ways with WWE, but now the former superstar has captured his first title in 7 years. In his second post-WWE match, Dijak captured the Rise Wrestling Grand Championship, and this comes after a lengthy run in WWE in which he won no titles. In pro wrestling, injuries are an unfortunate hazard of the business, and that was the case for Giulia when she suffered a wrist injury at the first Marigold event a few months ago. Giulia would later undergo wrist surgery amid reports that WWE has their eyes on her in a big way, with many believing she is already under contract despite appearing for Marigold. At Marigold's Summer Destiny event, Giulia was back in the ring, but she came up short against Sari in a war to crown the very first Marigold World Champion. This was a surprising twist for the match for many, but it was also expected by many because the general idea is that Giulia is coming to WWE very soon. Fightful Select reports that Giulia came out of the event uninjured and did not re-aggravate her recent wrist injury, and Giulia has noted that she has little time left in Marigold. The Summer Destiny event saw more WWE representation as Io Sky defeated Utami Hayashishida at the event, but she didn't make the trip to Japan alone. Corey Brennan of Fightful Select reports that Kairi Sane was backstage at the Summer Destiny show in support of Io Sky, and like Sky, she also has ties to Rossy Ogawa through Stardom. There is no word yet on whether the Pirate Princess will also wrestle for Marigold, but Ogawa has said in the past he hopes to be aligned with WWE for years to come. What's your take on the new Marigold promotion? Are you excited about Giulia coming to WWE? Let us know what you think in the comments section. And we're ending with the Motor City Machine Guns, as it was reported earlier this year that the team of Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin had reached an agreement to join AEW. Since then, though, there's been no hint of the tag team on AEW TV, but this past weekend, the pair seemingly said goodbye to the Indies at an event for Prestige Wrestling. The two were emotional as they waved goodbye after their match, and it's worth noting that despite the reports of an AEW deal, it's also reported that WWE has been in talks with the pair. Time will tell where the Guns go, as their TNA deals expired on April 1st of this year, but expect them to make an impact, whether it's in WWE or AEW.